Hi and welcome. Today I will give you a quick tutorial and show you step by step how to make this square. I don't really have a name for it. I'm not claiming that this is something I have invented. I mean, a pattern is made up of stitches in different combinations and we only have so many stitches to work with. But I haven't seen this anywhere and it just kind of developed as I was testing out some different kind of squares and methods that I wanted to use. If you have a suggestion for a name for this square, I would really like to hear it. You're very welcome to add it in the comment section. Maybe if we get some suggestions, I will make a poll on my community page and we can pick one together. So remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. I will say a little bit about how the pattern works and a few things about color choices, and we can get started crocheting a couple of rounds together. So the pattern is built over 2 rounds. It's repeated, so you can make this square as big as you would like it to be. One of the rounds will be a classic granny square round, so a cluster of 3 double crochets, as you can see here on the last round that I did. I will suggest that you end on a cluster round, otherwise it won't be a square, but maybe you like the look you get from these little tops that we are also making. It's a pretty dense square, so I think it's kind of perfect for bags and clothes and, well, blankets, whatever kind of project you are looking for. Color-wise, we have so many great options. I have one here I made in only 2 colors. So the pattern is kind of built, as I said, over 2 rounds. So the pink one is round 1 and 2, then the blue one is round 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. You can of course also make it multicolored. I did the same thing, so having one color for 2 rounds with this one. So round 1 is this kind of purple color and the green one is round 3 and 4 and so on. And again, of course, you can build it however big you like. If you're a big fan of multicolors, I have another suggestion for you. So this one is done the same way, but instead of having the same color for round 1 and 2, so this is the green one, I decided, that round 1 and 2 should be green, but I used 2 different shades of green. And then for round 3 and 4, I did 2 different kind of purples, 2 different kind of yellows, and so on. And you can build this any way you like, but I think this actually works pretty well with multicolors. I also have a bigger one I'm making right now. This one I used color changing yarn, so I don't have any yarn ends, and the color the yarn just changes color every once in a while. And I think that for this project it actually works really well because the pattern and the stitches are still pretty obvious. I also made one in black and white, so it's this one down here. It's a little bit special and I had to modify the pattern a little bit. Well, not the pattern itself, but the way I do the rounds to get this expression. I will explain that after the tutorial because when you understand the pattern, this is much easier to explain. So I picked up this green yarn and I will do a color change between round 1 and 2, but as I showed you, you can easily do that in the same color. We're going to start with a slip knot. And the first round will be a classic, how you would do a classic granny square. So I'm going to chain 4, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain to create a little ring. You can of course do a magic ring if you prefer that, or chain 3 or chain 5 if you need that to create your little ring. We're going to start with a double crochet and you can start that any way you like. I think today I'm just going to chain 3, 2 and 3. If you would like to see some other options on how to do your first double crochet, I have a video about that and I will put it in the description. Next to this chain 3, we're going to put in 2 double crochets. And remember, you have your yarn tail on the back and you can just crochet over it, leaving you with a lot less yarn tails to work in afterwards. Then for this square, I am going to chain 2 for a corner, 1 and 2. We'll get back to that when we do a couple more rounds, because that might change a little bit over depending on round we are on. So I'm going to put in 3 double crochets, and this is our cluster. So whenever I say cluster, I mean 3 double crochets next to each other in the same space. Again, do a corner, chain 2, do 1 more cluster. We're going to need a total of 4 clusters and 4 corners to create our base square. So this is my last 2 chains. So this will be my last corner, and I'm just going into my 3rd chain I did in the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch. And these clusters will be the foundation for every odd round that you are making. We'll get back to how many you need to chain. So for the second round, I'm bringing in a new yarn color just because I want it to be a little bit easier for you to see what we're doing. But you can, of course, continue with the one you already have on your hook. I'm going to put on a slip knot to my hook, and we're going to start between 2 of the double crochets up here. So we have 3 double crochets up here. And I'm going to go in between the first and the second one, so you can see here. And we're going to start with a single crochet, and I'm just going to go ahead and make one straight away, but you can of course attach your yarn any way you like. In that same space, we're going to put in half a double crochet. So yarn over, go in, grab the yarn, come up, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. So we'll have a single and a half double crochet in that chain space. Then in the top stitch of the double crochet next to it, we're going to put in a double crochet. So yarn over, go into the top stitch, and place a double crochet. So this gives us this little top. Then we're going back down. So in the space down here between your second and third double crochet, we're going to yarn over and go in and put in half a double crochet. Like that. And then we're going to add a single crochet. So we'll have a total of 5 stitches worked over the cluster. So in the space between the double crochets, the double crochet in the top stitch, and the last 2 stitches between the double crochets. Then we're moving over the corner, and over here I like to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. It might seem like a lot, but I think it makes sense when we work a couple of more rounds. Let's do it one more time. So between the 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet, yarn over, 1 half double crochet, yarn over, find the top stitch from the double crochet from the round before, put in 1 double crochet, back and get back down and work between the double crochets, yarn over, put in 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet. Whoops. And then we're again moving over, if this one will finish, like that. And then again moving over a corner over here, chain 3, make these top stitches, chain 3, make the stitches, chain 3. So I have my 3 chained for a corner. I'm just going to go into the first single crochet that we did, and I'm going to slip stitch. So this was round 2. So I want to show you round 3 as well, because I want to show you how we work in all these little tops and in the corners. 2 things. First of all, yes, you have 2 strands out of 2 rounds with stitches in your corners now, and it looks a little fluffy, but it will get into place when we crochet with them. And another thing, just remember your tops up here is not your corners. This is your corner. So the tops are on the sides now. So I'm bringing in this, let's use this blue yarn. And again, you can attach it any way you like. We're going to start with a double crochet. So I am going to put a slip knot onto my hook, and I'm going to start in a corner. So let's start in the corner up here. I like to do a standing stitch, so I'm just going to put the yarn over the hook and press my finger down on it, go into the corner, grab the yarn, come up. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, and go through 2. And this gives us our first double crochet. You can also chain 3 or use one of the other methods I mentioned earlier. Next to it, since it's a corner, we are going to do a cluster. So put in 2 double crochets, chain 2 for a corner, like we did on the first round. Go back into the same space and put in 3 double crochets. 1 and 2 and 3. So this is our new corner. To get over to the next corner and go over the top, we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And then we have a corner waiting for us over here, and in there we're just going to do the same thing, putting in 3 double crochets, chaining 2, putting in 3 double crochets. And that is how the pattern works. Let me bring in one of my samples. So this one. So when I do the granny square clusters, I like to chain 2 in the corners, and I like to chain 2 between. So when we're starting to have stitches between the corners, so like the yellow one, I like to chain 2 to get from the corner to the side cluster or the centered cluster. So 2 in the corners, 2 to get from corner to the next cluster, and from the cluster to the corner, chain 2. So that's fairly easy. When you're doing granny square clusters, you are chaining 2 between all the clusters. For the little tops, I like to chain 2 as well between the tops, because that matches everything. And then I like to chain 3 in the corners. And as you noticed for this one, when you are crocheting your granny square clusters, you're going to crochet over both rounds. So round 1 and round 2 when you are on your 3rd round. So you're going to not just use one of them, but crochet over both of them. And when you work more rounds, for this next one, we would be building tops. And again, we would have 2 chains from 2 different rounds laying on top of each other. So when we were on the next granny square round, we're going to go around both chains at the same time. Let me bring back my black and white square, and I'll explain to you what I did differently with that one. So there's no change to the way the pattern is made or every round is made. It's just the way the rounds are made. So after I did the first round in black, I didn't put on a round of tops. I just went straight over to the white yarn, and I did 1 round of cluster squares. So I actually have 2 rounds of cluster squares on top of each other. And then I did the white top, went back to the black one, but did 1 round of clusters without building a top, changed over to the white one, and had the cluster square round and the top round. So that is what is different here. That was all for today's tutorial. Please like and subscribe. Share it with someone if you know someone who would also enjoy this kind of square pattern. And don't forget to submit or add your name suggestion in the comments box. I am really excited about what kind of names you can come up with, and I'm excited to pick one. So thank you for today and have a great day.